Cultural Guide and Personal Reflection by Veronica Roberts. The objectives of this presentation are to introduce my cultural guide, Jen, learn about Swedish culture, our similarities, my personal and professional growth, and how I incorporated what I learned into my nursing practice. Sweden is located in the northwest continent of Europe. It is made of plains and lowlands. It is similar to Minnesota in that there are many lakes. The winters are cold and the summers are cool. There was a migration of the Swedes into America in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and according to Lentelman, economic difficulty in Sweden continued to be the primary motivation for leaving the homeland. But although Swedes in their earlier phases mostly sought to acquire land and to farm in the United States, many of the Swedes in the third phase responded to the needs of America's urban industrial labor market. My cultural guide, Jen, is a 40-year-old female of Swedish descent. She's childless and a divorcee. Jen's heritage or culture represents a large population of those we provide care for. Jen was born in the United States. Her family moved to America from Sweden in the early 1900s to the late 1800s, which is consistent with history. Sweden is known as the Viking nation. Family is extremely important, and through my dialogue with Jen, this was reinforced. Jen recalls many family and community gatherings to show support to loved ones and or neighbors, or they just gather to have fun. Swedish people are strong advocates for children's rights. Even though Jen does not have children of her own, she is very supportive of her stepchildren. She speaks up for their education, and she's very supportive emotionally. The Swedish community represents a large part of the Lutheran society. Although Jen is Christian, she shared a dish with us called glorified rice, which is popular in the Lutheran community, and it was also a recipe that her grandmother used to make. A large population of the Swedish marriages are childless. Many of the women chose to wait till they were older to have children, and then once they started the process, they found that they were infertile, and this led to a build or an increase in childless marriages in Sweden. Sweden persons are also high risk for heart disease and diabetes. Jen's family has been impacted by both. Both her grandparents were diagnosed with heart disease and died due to the heart disease and secondary to some of the impacts from their diabetes. They were both smokers, which is also a high-risk behavior. Jen is very conscientious about her own health, and she's very cautious. Jen and I share the same belief that family and community are very important. My family also believes in hosting large family gatherings such as family reunions, or we gather for special occasions. We also welcome our extended families or our communities to assist with raising our children. We also, believe that it takes a village to raise one child. And another similarity that we shared is in using respectful communication. Both of us like to address our residents by their names. We are big on, hellos and goodbyes when you enter and exit rooms. I call it good manners from my southern bringing, and then Jen usually calls it just having good etiquette. We both share in the fact that diabetes and heart disease are prevalent in our cultures. Cultural competence is a step-by-step process in learning about other cultures. Using the information that I obtained from Jen during this whole cultural competence process, I can integrate that information to my patient's plan of care. I believe it provides a better understanding of how and why people behave the way they do. And then again, participating in this process reinforces the importance of cultural differences and knowing that it all starts with communication and just asking the questions so that we can create a culturally competent plan of care for our patients. Ergelson is, I'm going to read from him. Um, he says that awareness about what is meant by family can assist a nurse in their daily work through increasing understanding of the complexity surrounding this issue and encouraging a culturally sensitive and openness to patients and family. So I think it's important to identify early because we have a lot of non-traditional families, and so we want to make sure that we incorporate them or include them in our plan of care. Also, our nursing practice should include nutritional education. One of the things that was high was fried foods. Even for the Swedish, they like to fry and eat a lot of meats. Just understanding that that can create some obesity and also have some effect on heart disease. Also offering foods that are culturally acceptable to our patients and clients. Nursing practice should also include an inquiry about herbal medications. Doctors need to be aware of any herbal medications that our patients take because those can also impact the effectiveness of some of the drugs that they take. Our practice should also include awareness of our patients' personal space and boundaries. You want to respect their personal space because that will keep your residents and patients dialogue open. They'll be more receptive to us if we honor their space, and they will keep a comfortable environment for them. Keeping communication open, asking the questions, creating a plan of care that is culturally competent is very important. Again, I want to thank you for taking time to listen to my presentation. And this next slide shows my references that were used. And again, thank you for taking the time out to listen.